Welcome to Angel Update, February 18th, 2023. And my name is Adria. We'll see what Angels Ariel or Raphael want to say to all of us today. It's usually about a half hour or so these days. And you're welcome to type questions in the chat if you want about whatever subject the angels come through with. I don't know what that's going to be yet. And so let's, without further ado, see what the topic is for today. This is Angel Raphael. So primarily we do want to speak of love this hour, not so much about Valentine's love. We'd be a few days late for that in any case. But you've heard perhaps some people speaking of love as a sort of currency or power cell for the new era. And we do want to confirm that what that means is not if you have a bleeding heart or you're overly sensitive or something, those were the ones who win in the new era. But those who are in tune with the divine power of love as the primary mover of the universe are going to catch on more quickly to how does this thing called fluidity of energy, time, motion without an E, movement, how does that work in the new now? So we've been giving you lots of training on this for those who have tuned in the last few years, and other teachers, of course, also working with attuning yourselves to the new energies. So what it means that the currency is of the heart is not so much, necessarily those that are the most kind get the most dollars, but certainly those who understand that love is the primary motivator, moving force, can ride those currents more easily. So if you're in tune with the primary driver, universal force, then what you miss is the sense of lack or fear or worry. Well, what if a market collapses? What if there's a shipping strike? Well, then you'll be with the flow of love in that moment and see what is evident then. You can't really provide for yourself for all occasions, right? If you think about Turkey or Syria, where the earthquakes hit recently, well, perhaps some of those people were very, very well prepared for certain types of events, but maybe not that one. You can't really control, let's say, the universe to be always polite towards you in terms of never having a tornado or a windfall or a bankruptcy or a love or a break off of love. Life is dynamic, it moves. But if you are in the heart center, what happens is when life moves, you're right there with it. Yes, there might be a surprise or a shock even. At the same time, you quickly are there with where is life, where is the movement of energy, where are my resources, might be friend or family, or my ability to change belief system, or my ability to reach out, or asking angels, or knowing a little in advance to prepare in one particular way. Perhaps it's so varied based on each of your life plans here. The things you love, the things you wish to receive and build upon. So beautiful, beautiful. Yes, mostly what we want to say is that you cannot keep life from being life, right? You cannot hoard wealth in some way that it's untouchable from life, from change. But nor would we want you to. We would suggest be in the flow of life, be in the center with life, and then you can move when you need to move. You can be responsive and hear that voice of yourself prompting you, time to go or time to stay, time to buy a little extra of that, or time to give this thing to a friend or a neighbor. I think they might need it. Be there in the flow of love, which is another word for the dynamic new energies of this universe. Heart-centered. Heart-centered, again, not meaning emotional necessarily, but vibrating in, out, and around and through the heart center of you. The more you become familiar, able to dance in that space with yourself and with life, the more responsive, resilient, adaptive you are, then, let's say, in any critical term, you are, the wealthier you are, right? So it doesn't really have to do with the stock markets, bank accounts, things on the shelf. It may, from time to time, those things certainly have a big influence on your life in some seasons, and in other seasons not at all. So how is that? That must not be the true measure of wealth. Perhaps the true measure of wealth is how adaptive, resilient, and in the standpoint of the center power pivot, which is your heart, the whole universe fits in there. So don't worry so much about the mind understanding, knowing, predicting, planning for, avoiding every kind of possibility of nuance of life. Instead, make this practice of presence. If you want to do emergency planning, spend 30-second drill with yourself in the mornings. What is it like to be fully present and notice what is right now? Am I grumpy? What is the weather? What is happening in the energy? Do I have this burst of creativity towards something and maybe I can put off what I had planned for an hour and attend to that? Is it a gorgeous day for a walk? Even though I didn't aspire to that this morning, I thought I was going to clean indoors, but look, I'm practicing being present. See if you can work with yourself a little to be a little more flexible, resilient to what is. And that is the truest wealth that we can activate in you. The idea of $1,000 shoes and mansions is fine. It's all right for whoever wants to have those things. That doesn't protect you from life. Good. But also, we don't want you to think of yourself as a victim from life. You are creator of much of what transpires in your circumstance and the people that you draw towards you. But again, that happens from pulsing with the emanation from the heart and not from figuring it out from the mind. How will this work? What are the best characteristics of the person for my project? How can I game the system, bet the right bets at the market at the right time? All of that's fine, and some life operates from the mind. We're not asking you to have no mental clarity either. But when you're asking about where is wealth in the future, and you're confused by this answer you get from other seers and knowers of the truth, it comes from unconditional love or it comes from love. What does that mean? That people who are in relationships get more money? No, you miss the point if you think it's about money. The point is, love is the power that drives the universe. So when you're in tune with that, which is a dynamic flowing force, then you are here now with life. Wealth, money, was never meant to be a dead thing. It's about supporting life. So see if you want to plan for the unknown. Practice being right, present, and noticing and responding to what is right now, at least once a day. Come off of the mental plans for the day and the calendar and just be alert, whether your eyes are closed or open. What is it right now? Is there something in my emotions that needs to be tended to? I feel a little bruised and I need to write it out, cry it out. Is there something in my home that's just so egregiously wrong? There's a smell in the refrigerator, and right now I should attend to that. It's so, we like to use small examples, but it's so simple and clear when you come into the present. The issue with the pain of feeling lack or fear about not being prepared comes when you spin out 1,000 scenarios of a future that does not exist, or at least does not yet exist. And most futures do not play out the way the mind projects and played the movie, how it's going to go, right? So you can't really know until you're there. So the practice is right from here, what's now? And what's now might be, yeah, I've been meaning to go to the store to get canned soup. Yeah, I want to do that. It's not that it can't ever be a plan or a focus for the future, but you really can't solve or protect yourself from the aliveness of life. So the more that you can be in the dynamism of what's now, even in the simplest terms of your day, that's why we use these examples, going for a walk versus cleaning the house, or going to the store or writing in your journal instead, because you're practicing right now, and in the center, power center of the heart, what is. Maybe it's inconvenient, maybe it's not what I wanted to be in the now, but what is? What is? And when you can face that with presence, then anything is possible. When you ignore it, things tend to stew, get worse. And when you pretend it's not there, it doesn't really go away, right? You miss your moment sometimes by doing that. So power here is right now in the present. So it's a simple message, but there are some fears right now around about the future. So we want to tell you there's something you can do about the future right now. Come into the present moment and resiliently respond and be with and create from here. And that is exactly the tools you're going to use if something happens, some earthquake or whatever it is you fear that might happen in your future. If it does come, what are you going to do in that moment? You're going to be right there with your heart and your tools, and certainly you may call on your angel friends. And the more you practice that now, in the casual moments, the fun moments, the creative, brilliant calling into being of the future you want moments, the more you practice all those tools, the more they are just there for you, absolutely, in the time of sorrow or surprise, right? Life is going to bring you sorrow and surprise, always. Do you know anyone's life who doesn't have those things? But you don't know what measure or when. And so fearing that, it doesn't bring you any peace of mind in the present, and it doesn't bring you any more preparedness for it when it comes. It often comes in a very different form than what we imagined, right? That sorrow or surprise. So if you know that life is movement and each moment it's moving on, you also know you're not going to be stuck there forever in whatever is the sorrow or surprise, positive or negative. Many things are mixed, right? So it's not that one day life comes crashing down and then from then on it's all remorse. No, do you have these moments, colder water currents and warmer water currents? Of course you will. And how you navigate that is being right in the center of love and movement, and knowing that love and life move. They're going to move. Good. This is Adria. If there are any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. We don't have the two-way audio option with the YouTube. At least I don't think we do. Send me an email about that if that exists, but for now it's one way. So I'll watch the chat for a few minutes and see if anything comes through. This is Raphael. You know, if you want to take this to its extreme, stop preparing. You miss so much when you plan out the details of some future that never arrives. You miss a lot. It doesn't mean not to be in action. And again, some things are about the future. When you go to the grocery store, you're often buying not just for right that moment, but maybe later in the week or a rainy day, snowy day when you don't want to leave the house and you'd rather have soup. So it's not that you can't have those layers of practical awareness and take action on those things, of batteries or matches in the house for a time when electricity might go out. We don't mean never to have backup plans and layers, but even for the positive things, when you get so focused on it being an exact way, what you miss is how poignant and alive the moment is when it comes. Let's say you've been wanting to meet someone, whether a new friend or a romance or some kind of love, a work colleague you've been looking forward to arriving because you need the help so much at work. Something like that. And then when the moment arrives and you meet that person, maybe you become so fixated on one detail that you miss those things that are unexpected or just very present, because you're comparing it with the script in your head. So stop planning if you want to take this to its extreme. And if you want to just take it more gently, spend a few minutes a day preparing by noticing what's exactly in the present and moving with it. It's the best way to prepare for all the future. A question in the chat: will money eventually be leaving this experience, or are we stuck with the same system in the new earth? Not that money is bad, but just curious. Thank you. Great question. This is Angel Raphael. This one is playing out right now. And there's not one decider of this. So you are one of the decision makers here. Do you want money anymore? Do you like barter system better? Do you like a different kind of money? What is happening is the structure of many, many layers of underpinnings of the financial system that were tied to slavery type mentality. And we don't mean just the history of slaves, literal slaves in one country or another, but the enslavement of humankind to work of a particular kind and focus. We've spoken quite a lot about that, so we won't linger on that topic here right now. But we do want to say that when the underpinning of something like a financial system, when the slavery mechanisms within it have been dismantled and removed, as they largely have been already to date, then it's a neutral. So it could be used as a tool that's neutral. However, humanity might get very creative to go beyond such a thing as just money's a little heavy, a little dense, but it's useful. From our perspective, it's now neutral. It's no longer a toxic element. the currencies and financial systems that have been called money is no longer a toxic element. So you don't have to be afraid of amassing wealth or using money and your tools towards good for yourself or others. It's all right, it's not tainting things anymore. At the same time, there are many ways to accomplish sharing resources, having food, exchanging something for something else. So, there was a time before money existed in human experience, and yet life went on. And there could certainly be a time we can foresee the possibility of a future without money. Right now, it's not in the probability field for this lifetime. So let's say the next 20 years or less, most of you will be around at least that long. Money looks like it will be around in some way or another, but the way that it's earned or the way it's held in such importance may shift quite a bit in the near term. And that we would suggest is more important. So for that, you could already be working with yourself around how important is money to you. We don't mean can you live on less, but when you're measuring, let's say, on your deathbed or on your life bed, when you wake up in the morning and you're measuring, how is it going? Is the first thing you think of, well, I have this much money in the bank and I wish I had more? Maybe you can think of other things to add and subtract in terms of how you're evaluating your life. That could shift already. You can make those shifts in yourself. But otherwise, we'd say some of you have brilliant ideas about something better than money. So start putting those in consciousness in the quantum field by thinking about it, sharing about it if you like, in small or big ways, and see what happens. It doesn't look dramatic to us, like money's going to suddenly disappear or everyone becomes bankrupt, right? If that were to happen, a new system would have to be invented for life to go on, because everyone can't be bankrupt. You see that, right? Nothing changed. If it was only dollars on a screen, nothing changed, and life is still here. So it's not so necessary as it seems, but also, again, the root of what was broken about monetary system has been removed. So whether it continues as a neutral tool or there's some other brilliant new ideas, both of those are, we would say, positive for humankind. Beautiful. This is Adria. Okay, I'm getting the cue. It's time to end. So yeah, we're still at about half hour, so it seems to be our new rhythm with these monthly updates. And look forward to seeing you again next month. And I'll check the web links next time before, make sure everything's working. Thanks so much for everyone for joining today and bringing your energy, your curiosity into the quantum field with us, because that's how we change and shift. And so much love to you from this heart to your heart, wherever it is right now in the universe. Sharing quantum love. Beautiful. Bye for now.